Even the fittest athletes can be knocked down when their health takes a turn. When Seve Ballesteros passed away from a brain tumor, it shocked the world. Here's a player with so much passion for his game, someone who would fight for it, yet he fell victim to such a serious illness. In October 2008, Seve Ballesteros was at Madrid airport when he suddenly collapsed. After that, doctors discovered that he had a malignant brain tumor. Sev, known for his incredible strength and spirit on the golf course, didn't back down in the face of this challenge either. He went through several surgeries, along with chemotherapy and radiation, fighting as hard as he could. Despite his bravery, the tumor took a heavy toll on him. By 2011, his health started to really decline. His family had to make the heartbreaking decision to let everyone know that his condition was getting worse. On May 7, 2011, at just 54 years old, Seve passed away at his home in Pedreña, Spain. He was surrounded by his loved ones, and even though his battle was over, his legacy lived on. It was a tough moment for fans and the world alike, but his courage during this time only added to the admiration people had for him. What people will always remember about Seve Ballesteros is how fiercely he fought for his game, no matter what. Take his singles match against Paul Azinger, for example. There was a moment during the match when Ballesteros questioned whether Azinger's ball was legal and asked for a change. The referee ruled against him, and you could see how frustrated Seve was. It really got to him. Later on, Azinger hit his ball into the water, but then got a favorable drop, which only added to Ballesteros' anger. Sev believed that the American team was bending the rules, although he was quick to say that he didn't think they were actually cheating. But that wasn't the only time Seve found himself in a heated moment at the Ryder Cup. In another incident, he and his partner, Jose Maria Olazabal, were accused by the American team of trying to mess with their opponent's focus. The Americans claimed Sev and Jose were coughing on purpose during their backswings, which led to a pretty intense exchange between the players. Ballesteros' career is one that will never be forgotten. From a young age, Seve showed the world that he was destined for greatness in golf. He turned professional in 1974 at just 16 years old, already showing the kind of passion and talent that would later define his career. It wasn't long before he burst onto the international stage. His big moment came in 1976 at the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale Golf Club. Sev finished in second place, just behind the winner, Johnny Miller. He was leading the tournament after 3 rounds, but a final round 74 left him tied for second with none other than the legendary Jack Nicklaus, 6 shots behind Miller. Even though he didn't win, it was clear to everyone watching that Sev was a force to be reckoned with. That performance in 1976 set the tone for the rest of his career. Later that year, he went on to win the European Tour Order of Merit, which is the money title for the tour. This was just the beginning. Sev would go on to win this title a total of 6 times, a record at the time. His first major came in 1979 when he won the Open Championship. Sev's closing round of 70 was enough to secure the victory. It was a memorable win for a number of reasons. For one, Sev hit his tee shot into a car park on the 16th hole, but still managed to make a birdie. It was a display of his incredible skill and focus under pressure, and it showed why he was so beloved by fans. In addition to his Open Championship win in 1979, Seve had an amazing run in the 1980s. He won the Masters tournament in both 1980 and 1983. The 1980 win was especially significant because it marked the first time a European golfer had won the prestigious tournament. At 23 years old, Seve became the youngest winner of the Masters at the time, a record that would later be broken by Tiger Woods in 1997. But that didn't take away from how special Seve's victory was in 1980. His win also made him the first European to win a major in America, making him a trailblazer in the sport. Seve's 1983 Masters victory was just as impressive. The tournament was delayed due to rain, but Seve stayed calm and collected, going on to win by 5 shots. He became the last player to win the Masters on a Monday, as the final round was played then due to the weather delay. For Seve, that win was another shining moment in his career. Sev's passion for the game was evident in everything he did, and his victories on the course were just the beginning. He went on to win the Open Championship again in 1984 and 1988, cementing his place as one of the greatest golfers of all time. His 1984 win at St. Andrews was especially memorable. After sinking a putt on the 18th green to win, Seve said that it was the happiest moment of my whole sporting life. It was the perfect ending to an unforgettable round. But Seve wasn't just focused on individual glory. He was a key player in the European Ryder Cup teams for much of the 1980s and 1990s. Over the years, he played in 37 matches against the United States, scoring 22 1-2 points. His partnership with fellow Spaniard José María Olazábal was one of the most successful pairings in Ryder Cup history. Together, they won 11 matches and have two, showing the kind of chemistry and teamwork that made them a formidable duo. Seve's contributions to the Ryder Cup went beyond his playing career. He captained the European team to victory in 1997 at Valderrama Golf Club in Spain, the first time the Ryder Cup was held in continental Europe. That win was a crowning achievement for Seve, as it solidified his role as one of the most influential figures in the history of the competition. In addition to his Ryder Cup success, Seve was also on top in terms of rankings. He was the first European golfer to be ranked #1 in the world, a position he held for a total of 61 weeks between 1986 and 1989. His time at the top was a testament to his consistency and excellence. He was also ranked #1 in McCormack's World Golf Rankings in 1983, 1984, and 1985, before the official World Golf Rankings were introduced. As his career progressed, Seve's focus shifted. He continued to play, but injuries began to take their toll. His back problems, in particular, made it harder for him to compete at the highest level. By the late 1990s, Seve was playing less often, but he made a notable comeback in 2005 when he competed in the Madrid Open. He expressed a desire to play more tournaments in 2006, but his physical condition made it increasingly difficult. In 2007, after struggling with injuries and health problems, Seve made the difficult decision to announce his retirement from professional golf. He had one last run at the Champions Tour, but soon realized that his body could no longer keep up with the demands of the game. During his retirement announcement, Seve also addressed rumors about his mental health, specifically reports that he had attempted suicide. He clarified that these reports were not true and that he had only been briefly hospitalized due to concerns about his heart. Fortunately, he was released after doctors gave him a clean bill of health. Even after retiring, Seve stayed involved in the game he loved. He took on the role of captain for the European team in the Royal Trophy, a competition similar to the Ryder Cup, starting in 2006. He also became heavily involved in golf course design, famously altering the 17th hole at Valderrama before the 1997 Ryder Cup. Seve's legacy was far-reaching, and his influence on the sport continued long after he retired. In recognition of his incredible contributions to the sport, several honors were bestowed upon Seve after his death. The airport in his hometown of Cantabria was renamed in his honor, becoming Seve Ballesteros Santander Airport. This was a fitting tribute to a man who had become one of the most iconic figures in Spanish sports history. The European Tour also made sure to honor Seve's legacy. In 2017, the European Tour Players Player of the Year award was renamed in his honor, and the first recipient of the Seve Ballesteros Award was Henrik Stenson. This award serves as a reminder of Seve's impact on the game and the respect he earned from his peers. And that's a wrap for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe so you never miss out on our future content. Thanks for watching. Payne Stewart's tragic death brought an end to an incredible legacy, one that is hard to put into words. His dramatic victories and the way he evolved as a player made him truly special. He had a style and a presence that set him apart, and his impact on the game will never be forgotten. No one will ever quite match what he brought to golf, and his legacy will continue to inspire for generations to come. His tragic death in a plane crash back in 1999 left an indelible mark on the world of golf. It wasn't just his untimely passing that made the event so heartbreaking, but the way it unfolded. The plane, flying for hours with no one on board, added an eerie, tragic layer to an already devastating situation. Investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board determined that the plane failed to maintain proper cabin pressure, which led to everyone on board becoming unconscious due to a lack of oxygen, a condition known as hypoxia. This happened as the aircraft was flying just west of Gainesville, Florida. Despite the fact that the crew was no longer able to control the plane, it continued on its flight path, guided only by the autopilot. The plane kept flying like this for several hours, eventually running out of fuel. Without anyone at the controls, the plane finally crashed into a field near Mena, South Dakota. It was a heartbreaking sequence of events, as the plane flew on without any human intervention, ultimately leading to the tragic crash. Stewart was more than a player. He was one of the most iconic figures in the sport, known not only for his talent, but for his dramatic flair. Every time he stepped onto the course, it was like a spectacle in itself. The 1999 U.S. Open at Pinehurst No. 2 will forever be remembered as one of the most emotional and dramatic wins in golf history. On the final day, Stewart was in a tight battle with a field of competitors that included some of the best in the world. But it wasn't just his swing that captivated everyone. It was his raw emotion, his passion, his energy, and the sheer will to win. Stewart made a memorable 15-foot par putt in the final round, which clinched the victory and beat Phil Mickelson by a single stroke. Stewart later said that his calmness and belief in himself, which grew stronger through his deepened faith, helped him make that clutch putt. To honor that unforgettable moment, there's now a statue of Stewart celebrating his winning putt, placed just behind the 18th green at Pinehurst Resort's No. 2 course. What made Stewart's career so compelling and so unique was the way he managed to mix the competitive fire of a fierce golfer with the grace and humility of a true sportsman. In the heat of competition, he could be hot-headed and occasionally show frustration with his game or the way things were going. Yet over time, Stewart became a model of growth and transformation. He evolved from a brash, fiery competitor into someone who embraced sportsmanship and grace. This growth didn't go unnoticed. Fans, peers, and critics alike recognized how Stewart had matured. He started to show a new side of himself, one that was less about just winning at all costs and more about enjoying the process, respecting the game, and showing kindness and encouragement to others. Another significant part of Stewart's legacy was his ability to embrace and adapt to golf's international nature. In an era where golf was dominated by certain countries, Stewart made it a point to play and win in different corners of the world. His victories weren't confined to just the U.S. They spanned continents, showing his versatility and his passion for the game, no matter where it was being played. Among the most notable of these was his strong connection with links golf, particularly in Ireland. Stewart's affinity for links courses was clear. He embraced the challenges and nuances that came with playing on these unique and often difficult courses. In fact, Stewart's success in Ireland became one of the defining parts of his career. The Irish crowds adored him, and he felt at home on the links courses, winning tournaments that many players find intimidating. But it wasn't just his success that made Stewart so beloved in places like Ireland. It was his respect for the game, his love for its traditions, and his genuine connection with the people that made him a fan favorite across the globe. Stewart's journey to becoming one of golf's greatest players started in Springfield, Missouri, where he was born and raised. He attended Greenwood Laboratory School, which was located on the campus of Missouri State University. From there, he took his talent to Southern Methodist University in University Park, Texas, where he played collegiate golf. However, his path to the PGA Tour wasn't straightforward. Despite graduating from college, Stewart didn't earn a PGA Tour card right away. Instead, he played on the Asia golf circuit for a couple of years, proving his skills and determination. In 1981, Stewart made his mark internationally, winning 2 tournaments, including the prestigious Indonesia Open, where he triumphed in a thrilling playoff with 3 other players. His success on the Asia golf circuit eventually led to him earning his PGA Tour card for 1982. That year, he won his first title on the PGA Tour at the Quad Cities Open. It was a particularly emotional win for Stewart because it was the only time his father, Bill Stewart, was able to witness him win. By 1983, Stewart had become a more consistent performer, winning his second PGA Tour victory at the Walt Disney World Golf Classic, where he triumphed by 2 strokes. But not every year was filled with triumph. In 1985, Stewart came agonizingly close to winning several times. At the Byron Nelson Golf Classic, he led by 3 strokes heading into the final hole, only to lose in a playoff to Bob Eastwood after Stewart made a double bogey. Later that year, Stewart came 1 stroke shy of winning the Open Championship, finishing second to Sandy Lyle. 1986 was another year of near misses. Stewart briefly led the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills, but a couple of bogeys derailed his chances, and he finished tied for 6th. Despite not winning that year, Stewart had a stellar season, posting the most top 10 finishes on the PGA Tour with 16. It was a sign of his consistency, and in 1987, that consistency finally paid off when he won the Hertz Bay Hill Classic, where he shot an impressive third round 63 and a final round 65. It was a duel for the ages, with South African golfer David Frost, who was in second place, finishing a full 8 shots ahead of the third-place finisher. This win was especially meaningful because Stewart was playing on his home course in Orlando, Florida, where he lived just adjacent to the Bay Hill course. In 1989, Stewart's career really started to soar. He claimed his first major victory at the PGA Championship at Kemper Lakes Golf Club. It was a dramatic final round, where Stewart overcame a 6-shot deficit, making up 5 strokes in the final 3 holes. His back 9 was a masterpiece with birdies on 4 of his last 5 holes. Stewart's win was made even more memorable by the heartbreak of Mike Reed, who had been in control before a bogey on the 16th hole and a double bogey on the 17th handed Stewart the title. The following year, Stewart made history by becoming the first player to win back-to-back titles at the MCY Heritage Golf Classic. This victory marked his first career playoff win, having lost all 5 of his previous playoff appearances. Stewart's 1990 season was stellar, with another win at the GTE Byron Nelson Golf Classic and a runner-up finish at the 1990 Open Championship, which helped him climb to a career-high number, 3rd in the world golf rankings. In 1991, Stewart claimed his second major championship, winning the U.S. Open in a dramatic Monday playoff with Scott Simpson. It was another nail-biting finish, with Stewart closing the gap over the final 3 holes after Simpson faltered. Later that same year, Stewart would win the Heineken Dutch Open, and the following years saw him claim more international victories, including the Hassan II Golf Trophy in Morocco in 1992 and 1993. In 1993, Stewart made history again when he carded a remarkable 4th round 63 at the Open Championship at Royal St. George's Golf Club, tying the record for the lowest round ever in the tournament at the time. By the time of his tragic death in 1999, he had earned nearly $13 million in career earnings and was consistently ranked among the top 10 golfers in the world. He had represented the U.S. on 5 Ryder Cup teams, playing with passion and pride. He was also known for his distinctive style, which included wearing NFL team colors as part of his sponsorship deal. Stewart's legacy in golf will always be remembered not just for his victories, but for the way he played the game, with passion, heart, and a deep respect for the traditions of golf. He was a true champion, both on and off the course, and his impact on the game will never be forgotten. And that's a wrap for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an update. See you next time. Bye. In the world of golf, most players are celebrated for their hard work and endless practice. But Bruce Lietzke was a rare gem. He made it to the top without spending hours on the range. Lietzke played less, yet his talent spoke louder than any practice session. Fans loved his laid-back style, which made his passing from brain cancer more heartbreaking. His story proves that sometimes natural talent really can shine through. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Lietzke had a way of doing things that made him stand out in the world of professional golf, and not just because of his impressive talent. He was famously known for his less is more approach to practice, which was practically unheard of at the time. While other players spent countless hours on the range fine-tuning their swings, Lietzke was more likely to be at home with his family or enjoying life away from the course. During the off-season, he sometimes went months without even touching his golf clubs. That's right, no drills, no endless practice rounds, just pure natural talent waiting to shine when the season started again. This approach went completely completely against the grain of the professional golf culture, which is all about practice, preparation, and relentless hard work. Lietzke wasn't interested in any of that. He prioritized his family over the grind of the tour and wasn't afraid to skip major championships like the US Open or the British Open in favor of family vacations. While most players would consider missing a major unthinkable, Lietzke saw it as a simple choice. His family came first, no matter what. Of course, this laid-back attitude didn't sit well with everyone. Some golf purists and fans of the sport couldn't help but question his decisions. After all, major championships are the pinnacle of the game, the moments that define legacies. For Lietzke to skip them so casually might have been hard for some to understand. But for him, the memories he created with his loved ones were far more important than trophies or titles. He also had this charming way of joking about himself, calling himself a reluctant golfer who almost stumbled into success. It was classic Lietzke, self-deprecating humor with a hint of truth. While his relaxed persona made him incredibly likable to fans, there were probably a few people in the golf world who felt his attitude downplayed just how tough the game really is. Success in professional golf takes an incredible amount of skill, focus, and yes, effort. To some, Lietzke's approach might have seemed like he was taking it all for granted, but in reality, he wasn't. Lietzke knew exactly who he was and what mattered most to him. He loved golf, but he loved his family more, and he wasn't willing to let his career take over his life. That kind of clarity is rare, especially in a sport where so much value is placed on winning at all costs. Lietzke's story is a reminder that success isn't always about doing things the way everyone else does. It's about staying true to yourself and what makes you happy. July 28, 2018 was a heartbreaking day for the golf world. That's when Lietzke, the laid-back legend known for his easygoing style and natural talent, passed away. His death was caused by glioblastoma, an aggressive and unforgiving form of brain cancer. It was the kind of news that hit hard, not just for his family and close friends, but for everyone who admired him, both on and off the course. Lietzke's journey in golf is the kind of story that stands out in a sport where grinding away on the practice range is often the norm. Lietzke didn't follow the traditional path of relentless practice or an exhaustive tournament schedule. Instead, he carved out a unique niche for himself, becoming a fan favorite and a respected competitor who knew how to win while staying true to his priorities. Born in Kansas and raised in Oklahoma, Lietzke's love for golf began early, but his career really took off when he attended the University of Houston. Houston was, and still is, a hotbed for golf talent, producing many great players. Lietzke graduated in 1973 and turned professional the following year, setting his sights on the PGA Tour. While many young golfers would dive headfirst into the grind of professional golf, Lietzke approached it with a level-headedness that would define his career. In 1977, Lietzke claimed his first PGA Tour victory at the Tucson Open. That win was a clear signal that he wasn't just another player on the tour, he had the talent to compete with the best. Over the years, he added to his trophy collection, winning a total of 20 tournaments combined between the PGA Tour and the Champions Tour. One of his most memorable victories came in 2003 when he captured the US Senior Open, a crowning achievement in his later career. Perhaps his best year on the PGA Tour was 1981, when he notched 3 wins in a single season. That same year, Lietzke was a key member of the victorious US Ryder Cup team, which triumphed at Walton Heath Golf Club in England. Representing your country in the Ryder Cup is one of the highest honors in golf, and Lietzke was a proud contributor to the team's success. Despite his achievements, Lietzke's approach to golf was anything but conventional. He was famously known for avoiding long practice sessions and limiting the number of tournaments he played each year. Unlike many of his peers who packed their schedules with as many events as possible, Lietzke never played more than 25 events in a single PGA Tour season. After 1988, he didn't even hit 20 tournaments a year. Instead of chasing every dollar or ranking point, he chose to spend his time with his family. This decision didn't mean he wasn't competitive. In fact, Lietzke never finished lower than 74th on the PGA Tour money list during his career. Over the course of his time on the tour, he competed in 506 events, an impressive number even with his reduced schedule. Lietzke's ability to remain consistently successful while playing less and practicing minimally baffled some but inspired many. He became a symbol of balance, showing that you could succeed in professional sports without sacrificing your personal life. One of the few what-ifs of Lietzke's career is his performance in major championships. His best finish in a major came in 1991 at the PGA Championship, where he placed second. While some might argue that his light schedule and preference for family time kept him from competing in and and potentially winning more majors, Lietzke himself never seemed to regret his choices. He valued his time off the course just as much, if not more, than his time on it. Beyond the PGA Tour, Lietzke's connection to the golf community extended to events like the Sour Mash Open in Parkersburg, West Virginia. This wasn't one of the glitzy, high-profile stops on the professional circuit, but it was a tournament close to Lietzke's heart. He participated in the event numerous times, helping to build its reputation and community impact. The Sour Mash Open became more than just a golf tournament. It turned into a vehicle for giving back. In 1990, the Bryce Lietzke Martin Scholarship Fund was established by the tournament committee to honor Lietzke, Dr. John Coyle Bryce, and Larry Martin. This fund provides scholarships to deserving students in Wood County, West Virginia, who have shown an interest in golf. Lietzke's involvement in this effort spoke volumes about his character. He wasn't just a golfer, he was someone who cared deeply about supporting young people and giving them opportunities to succeed. Lietzke's career and life were full of contrasts. He had the skill to dominate, but chose not to overextend himself. He loved the game, but refused to let it consume him. He valued family over fame, yet he still managed to achieve incredible success on his terms. His story is a refreshing reminder that there's no one right way to define a career or a life. Even as Lietzke racked up wins and built an impressive resume, he stayed humble and grounded. His self-deprecating humor endeared him to fans and fellow players alike. He often joked about his minimal practice routine, which sometimes involved leaving his clubs in the garage for months during the off-season. While others might have seen this as a lack of commitment, Lietzke saw it as a way to keep his life balanced. He wasn't interested in being the hardest worker in the room. He wanted to be the happiest. Lietzke's career may not have been filled with major championships or endless records, but it was marked by something even more rare: contentment. He didn't chase fame or fortune. Instead, he focused on what mattered most to him. That's a lesson that goes far beyond golf. In a world that often demands more, Lietzke showed that knowing when to say enough is a kind of success all its own. When you look back at Lietzke's legacy, it's clear he left an indelible mark on the game. He proved that you don't need to play every tournament or spend endless hours practicing to be great. Sometimes, stepping back and enjoying life can make you an even better player and person. For Lietzke, golf was always just a part of the bigger picture, and that's what made him truly unforgettable. That's a wrap for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss an update. Thanks for watching.